Today, a leader. No, today, a reader. Tomorrow, a leader. What is up, champions? Welcome to another episode of Champion Reads, where we go into the best-selling books and their best principles to help you have your best life. I'm your co-host, Coach Willie. I also have the other host, Mr. Ian Sturmer, and the founder of Champion Circle as a special guest, Mr. John Kovacs Jr. And we are excited today because this is going to come out several weeks later than when we record this, but right now it's the fifth Friday, which on the fifth of a series. Sometimes we go into a fifth episode in the book if it's that good, or we do something special, which is we bring in 3 books. That's right, you get a 3-for-1 deal today with the books that we have. So what we do is each of us bring in a book that has impacted our life and taught us some principles to share with you and for all of us to really just bounce off of each other. So with those 3 books, without further ado, John, back in the green room, you were just like, I'm going to go first, so I'm going to throw it right to you. John, hit it. Let's start.
Man,
the suspense is there.
If you have not read this book, I implore you to read it immediately. It's not necessarily an applicable, it's not an application type book where you can change and make like dramatic changes overnight, but it's the small and minor changes over time that truly lead to the greatest outcomes. And in a beautiful, beautiful display of anecdotal evidence, incredible research, and stories that show just how putting in the time creates the foundations for the elite of those who become the most successful people. That's right, bringing to you The Outliers book by Malcolm Gladwell. This book is phenomenal, and it is one of my all-time favorites. I always have this copy somewhere in my library near my office or my bedroom, and every now and then I will turn to this book because, I mean, even the back cover is really cool. Like, you've got these Granny Smith apples and then the one red apple, right? But what makes an outlier is the little changes or the little 1% efforts done over time. And the sooner you start, the better you'll become. They say you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time around. They say that if you invest, at least an hour a day in doing one thing, you will find success and become an absolute expert or pro in the field. They say that if you read 10 books on the same subject, that you will then become an expert in that field because of your knowledge compared to the rest of the world. And I've got to say, in a world like today, where people are truly seeking information and truth and knowledge, and they're bombarded by the noise of social media and just television and everything else around them, it is so easy nowadays to become an absolute expert and to shine and to serve and to help other people. And this book goes through that. And one thing I'll touch on is the 10,000 hour rule. A lot of the famous athletes and a lot of the most incredible worldwide renowned companies and computer programmers and all of the examples that he goes through in this book, he'll tell you that as early on as they could start developing the skills towards their passions, that is when they became the greatest of all time. And if you look at like the evidence, like the Beatles played more music than any other band in history before they're even like 5th year playing together. That's because they dedicated so much time to playing every single night, the late night shift till like the early morning shift on the bars and in London and all through the United Kingdom, you know. And so anyways, I'll stop my monologue and turn it over to the team here, but this is such a powerful tool. And it just is a great reminder that it's not about transformation overnight. It's 1% better every single day and dedicating time. So if you truly want to be good at something, or if you want to be really good at something, and that something makes a living for you, start now, start today, and make sure you do not slow down, but that you pick up speed and then it becomes an obsession so that you too can become an outlier amongst the crowd of many. And what do you guys have to say about Malcolm Gladwell's incredible work of art?
Oh, first off, I love that book. Such a great book. It honestly, it's been a while since I've read it, but I remember it being so good. I have this resource that I give people that I work with. It's what's it called? It's like it's like my library of books that I have, and I have like my top 10 books, and then each category, personal development, spirituality, psychology, health and wellness, all those different ones. I know Outliers is in several of those, so I absolutely love it. Second, how great is it to be an outlier? Like, not outliers don't have much competition because they're so out there, but two, they're doing the things in which they are usually passionate about. They're creating things that are very just innovative and creative. And because of that, their competition, other people might think they have some, but really they're just in a league of their own. And they're able to go and be consistent with it and really make things happen by doing, 1% a day. I know right now I'm working on my health. I know John and Ian have heard this all the time because we talk all the time, but working on 75 hard. And I am full of immense gratitude for myself, and not in like the ego way or selfish way, but just like being able to show up consistently. Because I look at the picture from day one and I look at the picture from today, and I'm like, it's amazing how over the last month and a half, just the consistency shows. If I did one massive workout day one and didn't do anything else since then, I'd look the exact same. But it was that consistency over time that helped me look right now, and then in the future it's going to be even better when I finish it. And so it's such a true principle that when you focus on 1%, the consistent daily actions moving forward, just be 1% better, be better than you were yesterday, that's where the success rolls in. That's where the long-term relationships, connections, and abilities and habits that we build, that's when they start to solidify. It's through the consistency rather than just the big one and done.
Love that. Now, this is embarrassing to say, but I have not read this book yet. So once we finish this, it will be on my download list. So I need to do that, but I'm listening to the principles here. And I love that. I was thinking just a whole bunch of things as you guys are talking, and the outlier idea being different from the crowd. And you mentioned the Beatles, and that put me into music. I love music. And I was thinking about that a while ago, like the great songs of the past. And I'm old enough to be like classic rock. So I'm going to preface this. If you look up like the top song of 1965 or 1968, a lot of those famous songs we don't even remember anymore. They're like a flash in the pan. But the ones that stick out that we really remember, Bohemian Rhapsody is a classic example. Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. They're different. They went out on their own. They're incredibly talented. They put the effort in it, but they didn't just follow the mold of everyone else. They forged their own path with those same correct principles that lead to success. So I'm thinking that the book is going to be here. If I'm wrong, just kind of mute me and go off. But yeah, there we go. So first of all, you've got to be a little bit different. If you're the same as everybody else, you're never going to achieve great success. Maybe you'll get lucky and hit that flash in the pan thing. But in addition to that, the other side, he said that 1% of more effort into it. It reminded me of Mr. Beast, the YouTube star celebrity, made a comment as, to get, twice as many views, you don't have to be twice as good. You just have to be 1% better than the next guy. And that's all it takes. And I think when we're looking at achievement and being the best we can, sometimes that's it. We just need to be 1% better than we were yesterday, 1% better than the competition. John is a big volleyball guy. So how many more goals do you have to win or get more than the other team to win a game? Do you have to get twice as many goals? One. You just need one more to win. And maybe that's life. You just need one more to win. So once I read the book, I'll have more to say.
Man, I'm so glad we're talking about this, and I'll finish up my thoughts on Outliers. But team, wink, wink. This is probably one book we should add to the list so that Ian will read it soon. It is awesome, and it's Malcolm Gladwell has an incredible way of authoring books, and he takes a lot of anecdotal evidence and incredible science-based work and research, and he does a great job of proving the same point over and over and over again, but in different ways, so that if you don't resonate with the sports phenoms, okay, but you resonate with the music phenoms like the Beatles, okay, that's going to stand out to you and you're going to take away from that in so many cool ways. And then he goes into talking about how Microsoft was created and how Bill Gates was one of the first ones on the scene of coding, and how late nights were incredibly late nights of just passionately coding and learning how to program. And it's just amazing. And it goes into different stories about the greatest soccer and hockey players, as well as just different experiences, and you're going to love it. But what I want to share is something that you all brought up that I actually never thought of. And I think that's a really cool concept that I'd like to leave off with, which is, think like an outlier. And whatever that means to you, it's definitely thinking different. And if you're going to be different and you're going to be 1% better, that's a way to live. Because let's be honest, there's a huge movement in the AI industry right now, and people are flooding to using AI for conveniences. But I got to tell you, what they don't understand is that while it seems creative and new and awesome to them, it's a language model. Like ChatGPT is a language model that is pulling from all of the documents and all of the things around us, and it's creating an average of what you're asking it to do, because it's grabbing from everything and accumulating it all into one thing and then spitting it out so that you can use it. And that's not outliers. That is an accumulation creating an average. And so if you want to be an outlier, if you want to be a standout, if you want to be something different, be different, do something, use your brain, use your body, use your abilities, use your talents and your passions, and you'll find yourself in an outliers mentality, doing things that people look up to you and say, that guy is just different. That gal, she is just incredible. And you'll see this throughout the world.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Oh, John, thank you for bringing that book into it. Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. All the 3 books that we say today will go into the description. There'll be links to go find it. You'll be able to have the info. Everything will be there. Now, as we transition, I'm going to actually throw it over to Ian, because I know what my book is. So I might be biased and being like, I want to know what Ian's is. So I'm going to dive into that bias and throw it over to Ian for sharing what his book is.
Okay, yes. So the book I have for today is one that I'm sure you guys have read before, but you may never have realized the importance of this book. Okay. This book talks about the absolute passion we have for our goals in life. It talks about a massively singular goal in mind and moving towards that. And it infuses it with a desire to share and give to the people closest to you and share of that love. And I have memorized the first line of this book. And see if you guys recognize this. I am Sam. Sam, I am. Do you like green eggs and ham? Okay, this book, talk about a passion for what he loves. And Sam not only loves green eggs and ham, he will just with a narrow-minded, I shouldn't say narrow-minded, singular focus, absolutely dedicated to this goal of sharing this incredible thing in his life with his friend. How often do we have that passion? You know, we talk about Think and Grow Rich all the time. That's kind of our training manual, Bible, so to speak, as we go through this. And it starts out with a passion. Do you have that passion for what you want to do? I think a lot of times we don't in life. We go to that average that John just said with Chat GPT. What's the average of things that are good? What's a good thing to go after? But single-minded focus, unrelenting work towards what we want. So I'm going to stop there and see, what are your guys' take? What have you learned from the Dr. Seuss classic?
I'll jump in, and man, this is a classic, and I threw down the money number. I was like, yes, this is a great book. And out of all the entrepreneurial, self-help, psychological bestsellers that we cover on this show, no book is more iconic than that book. And I gotta say, one of the most profound statements that I really felt when I first read this book was, Sam, I am. And he could have said it different. He could have rhymed it differently. He could have been, I am Sam, but no, it was Sam, I am. And I thought that was really interesting. And so for my life, I've always carried that phrase, and I've always just thought about the importance of individuality, as well as the importance of understanding your unique being and who you are. And I love that line. And I know that there's so much more to this book and so many more principles and takeaways. But for me, profoundly, I always love that line, Sam, I am, because that is who I am. And there are no more, there's no greater combination of words to entrust and ensure belief in oneself than I am. And so if you're looking for manifestations, if you're looking for something to truly give you a powerful transformation, look at saying the words I am and follow through with whatever it is that you are, that you want to be, that you feel like you are, the great that you are. And John, I am.
It is so interesting. It's so interesting you took that take, because my mind went a completely different route. But that's so cool to just be so sure of yourself, being like, Sam, that's who I am. Sam, I am. But the thoughts that came to my mind that man, I love this book. I got a couple young kids, and literally I saw this book sitting on the bookshelf last night when I was putting them to bed. Just the freaking green eggs and ham. And I remember a time when I just hated eggs. I didn't like eggs at all. And then I tried it, and it was like, I like it. It's pretty good. And the thing I love about the whole book is that with Sam, it's funny how we keep bringing Sam up. He's just so good. With Sam, he is so persistent, but he does it like, if any of you awesome champions who have talked with AI rather than just giving it prompts and then it just shooting back stuff. If you actually like talk to it and like told it something and it comes back to you, it's always positivity, always no judgment. And Sam is that exact same way. It's just like, would you like it in a box? Would you like it with a fox? And I can't, does he have a name? I'm trying to remember. I don't think so. Maybe he does. Maybe
I think he does.
Yeah, the grump. We'll just call him the grump. The grumpy. He's like, no, I don't want it. Sam's like, okay. What about in a house? Or what about with a mouse? Or a goat in a boat? And it's just like, it just continues down until finally the grump is just like, forget it. Just give me the plate. And he tries it, and it's the best thing that just rocks his world. And he's just like, yeah, I would absolutely do it with a fox in a box and a mouse in the house and a goat in a boat. And it's just like all these different things. This whole world opened up because Sam was just so freaking persistent. How in our lives are we needing to be that persistent in what we're doing? Are we so convinced that the product or service that we are selling, so convinced that the thing that we are providing people is of such value that if they do not have it, is going to hurt their lives? Are we so convinced that this product is going to make their lives so great, so outstanding, it's going to open this whole new world? Are we that convinced? And if not, why not? When we are so convinced and persistent like Sam, when we are just grounded in what we know and helping other people out and sharing that light, man, you talk differently. And that persistence doesn't seem like hard work. It's just pure kindness. And so I'd say in all of that, man, Sam I am, that persistent son of a gun. Be more like that and be more convinced in the things that you are doing.
Yeah. I'm going to wrap up because you said a couple of things that hit me a little bit new today. One is we need to have that passion that Sam has. And Sam, I'm going to go on a limb here and say that he might be one of the ultimate outliers in there. So just to tie these together. The other is the grumpy guy. Are we willing to open our mind to try something new? To look at the people close to us and our friends who are pushing things that they've learned? Are we willing to be open-minded? Because you know what? There's some great stuff that we never knew about before. I went to a dinner at a friend's house one time, and they came out and poured some cranberry juice for us along with the dinner, and I thought, I hate cranberry juice. Well, let me just, plug my nose and got to be polite, and I picked it up and I took a drink, and apparently I had never had cranberry juice before because that is really good. And I loved it, but in my mind, I hated it. And I don't know how I had that vision, but had never had it. So you got to be willing to try new things as well. You got to share what works with your loved ones, and you got to be willing to listen to your loved ones to find new things that work. So I'll close with that statement from my book. And with bated breath, let's find out what our final book from Coach Willie is.
Oh, what? Well said. Well said. And speaking of Sam I am and how he is an outlier, my book goes into what he does as well, which, if any of you know the author David Bradford, that might ring a bell for some of you, because my book is called Up Your Game. The 6 Timeless Principles for Networking Your Way to the Top. I love this book because this is one of the first books that I grabbed when I was trying to figure out how the heck do I network in this world. For someone who grew up as a shy kid, was very insecure about himself, I didn't know how to talk to people just normally. It was hard to start small conversations, hold the topic. It was hard to ask questions that I needed to. And so when I found this book, I loved it. And there are 6 principles, and I'm going to find them quick because I'm that awesome and can talk and find the table of contents at the same time. And John smirking at me and being like, dude, you got this. And I'm like, heck yeah, I do. So the 6 principles, I'm going to share them just super quick. You got start up, show up, follow up, then link up, stand up, and scale up. And out of those 6, one that sticks out to me the most is show up, because show up, as he talks about it, is radiating kindness and serving other people so abundantly that it feels like a crime to not help them. And not you yourself. Like, you share abundantly, and then the other person feels like they have to reciprocate it right back to you in the best way possible. And so that's something that I've taken into my life, is whenever I am around people, to the best of my ability, sometimes I have a bad day and I got to apologize for it. But to the best of my ability, whenever I'm talking to people, whenever I'm out serving other individuals or talking with clients or talking with mentors and coaches, I try my hardest to just be 100% there, because I've learned that presence is the best service you can give people. I'll say that again. Your presence is the best service that you can give people. Because when you are present, when you are intentional and there with somebody, oh my goodness, how amazing that conversation goes and how deep that relationship is going to build. I live my life knowing that the single most important word to somebody is their name. And so I always remember their name to the best of my ability. Sometimes I forget, and I apologize for it. And second, after the name, is being there for them. Because sometimes you might not remember most of the conversation, but simply just being there as a listening ear, asking questions, being curious about their life is an emotional breath for them and what we really need in society. So that is what I have. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Up Your Game by David Bradford.
I'll jump in and just say, you reminded me of, and I'm going to totally obliterate this quote. I was thinking about it and I was thinking maybe I'll look it up while you're talking. And just to be present, I'll just kind of botch it together. And basically it's a poem or a couple lines about like yesterday is a blessing. Tomorrow is awesome. And today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. I know I totally did that wrong, but it reminded me of just how special now is. And people are always anxious and stressed and working towards tomorrow and the future. And then look, that's not guaranteed. It never has been and it never will be. Although it is a blessing when it does come. And every single day you can give gratitude that the day that came is the day that you get to enjoy. And so I think that the present is so beautiful and it's a gift. It's a gift given to us as every opportunity is. And I love that. And when it comes to scaling up, like looking at how you show up, there was something recent somebody said to me, and it was pretty profound in many ways. I thought, I wish more people did this. Like, in order to be the person you want to be, well, you just got to be that person and start developing the habits of being that person. You can't be inconsistent about being the person who you want to be. If you truly want to be that macho bodybuilder, sexy six-pack abs human being, well, the second you take a day off, you're taking a day off from that dream. Or the second you take a day off from being the millionaire entrepreneur that you truly want to be, that's the day off from your dream. And so when it comes to showing up, it's important to show up authentically, but to show up as the person you choose to be, not the person who you wish you could be, right? And I think that's a powerful tool and a reminder. And basically the reason why I started Champion Circle in the first place, shout out to Champion Circle, because it's not about me. It's about creating an environment where people can drop their guards, take off their professional masks, and focus on the most important aspect for building relationships that actually lead to results. And the aspect is trust. And when you're in a trusted community, you become a champion in and of yourself, as well as you surround yourself with other champions who are set out on a course, set out on a path to win. And that journey together creates an unstoppable momentum that carries you through so many challenges and so many awesome wins and accomplishments in life. And that's what I think it's all about. So I love this. I have yet to read this book. This book is on my list. In fact, Willie put it on my list a year ago and it's still somewhere in the mix, but I definitely want to finish this book because it's a great concept. And I know that this is just an inkling of what the book offers, especially with all of those principles you shared from the table of contents, because man, it is important that you show up as the person who you desire and choose to be, not the person you wish to be. And that's an important value. So when you do that and you show up that way, people are better for it. And you raise the volume or the vibrancy and the authenticity and the frequency truly in the rooms that you set your foot in. So that's an important piece to it.
I love that. And okay, I need to read this book too. I had not heard that, or had not read this one. And it's been a while since I'd heard about David Bradford. So I want to point out first, though, that when I was a kid, we used to make mixtapes for our friends. And now we have mixed book lists we give out to friends. Here's a list of all the books you need to read. But in this, I actually had a chance to attend a lecture by David Bradford at an alumni event several years ago. And I know Willie read through the list of all the ups in there and the show up and be present, what we kind of talked about. But he gave an example from his life that really, really stuck with me. And I'm not sure if this one is in this book or not. I'll find out when I read it shortly. But he had just graduated from college, went out to his first job interview out in LA. He was kind of a country kid, went to the big city, went to this big high rise, sat down at this law firm he was applying for, and absolutely bombed the interview. Just did terrible. And he walked out feeling dejected. He got in the elevator. He started going down this high rise, and the elevator door opened on a floor, and he looked out and he saw the name of a legal firm. So he walked out of the elevator, walked up to the reception desk and said, "I'd like to speak to your hiring manager." And the receptionist said, "Well, let me see if they're in." They went through a little bit and the hiring manager wasn't there, but he ended up getting an interview with someone who later got him to the hiring manager, and he got a job there. Talk about being in the present. Forget the past, forget the future, forget the fact that 2 minutes ago you bombed your interview. You did terrible. And you walk straight out and ask a random company for another interview. That's the present. That's saying, this is what I can do now. This is what I can do today. So again, I don't know if this story is in the book, but if this is the mentality that David Bradford has, this is what I want to have. Forget the failures of the past. They're gone. You got your dreams of the future you're looking forward to. But you show up, you give everything right now, right here in the present. And that's what's going to give us success. That's what's going to let us move to the next step. It's going to bring us the happiness in this life. Rather than, I've talked to a friend who had a beautiful vacation, and this friend was not happy with some of the food when they're on vacation. And they let that one aspect ruin most of the vacation because of one little thing. Instead, let's forget all the little things, focus on that one big good thing, be present in that, show up for that thing. And that's success, that's happiness. So I'm excited to read this.
Yeah, it is. It's a great book. Thank you both for your insights. It's just simply amazing how this book, both your books and all other books, it's amazing how as we become readers, we truly become leaders. Because as we're reading, we're not living the life of mediocrity. We're not living the life of staying in one place. We are learning. We are continually being a student for life. Those who have been in college or remember back to their high school and middle school days. When you were learning, you felt like you had a purpose. Even if it didn't feel like there was a direction that you were heading, you still felt like at the end of the day that you did something that day. And you were just learning and continually being actively minded. And so I have actually a weird twist to, as we close off this episode, is I want each of us to imagine ourselves in a bookstore. As we are in a bookstore, we have our book in hand. And we see a teenager who looks like they are just ready to live the life of a student for life, just ready to go. We see it in them. We see them radiating that they're just in those beginning steps and don't know what to do. What I would like us to do is we are going to grab the book and hand it to them, and we only get to say one line to them, one sentence. And then we have to leave the bookstore and leave them with the book. I think that makes sense, right? One sentence, that the message that you're going to leave to this individual, that you're just going to hand them the book. You can be like, hey, kid. They'll turn around, you say the message, hand them the book, and then you walk out. So while you two are thinking of that, I'll do mine first. And I haven't thought about this, but I'm just going in messy. So if I were walking up to that teenage kid, someone who just has that passion, ready to up their game, I think I'd grab the book, hand it to them, and say, the more you show up, the more life's going to give to you. Give them the book, and I walk out. That's the message I'd leave. John or Ian, what would yours be as you hand your book off to another person?
Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say my easy one is to hand someone a copy of Think and Grow Rich and emphasize on the power of think and you shall grow rich. And I would say the words, read this and you'll find the most riches you've ever experienced in your life. And walk away with a cape.
Walk away.
Flash of smoke. So I actually had this experience very similar to it a couple months ago. I was in a bookstore and I was in that business personal development section, and there was a high school kid looking through the books. And I asked him what he was, he was starting a business or something, and I forget the whole conversation there. But he asked me what I recommended. So I pulled out, it wasn't Think and Grow Rich, sorry, John. I pulled out the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and handed it to him. Said, this is probably the most important book. If you want to be successful in your life and in business, read this book. And then I handed him 4 more books. But and after that was leadership and self-deception. So
awesome. Thank you for playing that little activity. To each of the champions out there, always remember to be the outlier, up your game, and be the Sam I Am in your own life. And with that ends this awesome episode of Champion Reads. If you found inspiration in it, go ahead and subscribe to our podcast. You can find us on all the major podcasting platforms, as well as you can go to our website, mychampionscircle.com, where you'll find the link to the podcast, link to the socials, and everything else going in the Champion Circle universe. Till next time, champions, continue to be the champion in your own life. Be the best version of yourself. And always remember, readers are leaders. We'll see you on the next episode of Champion Reads.